What's up, guys? T-Rock 1992 here. For this next video and for my next movie review, I'm going to be reviewing a movie that came out just a couple of weeks ago, and one that I saw a couple of days ago myself. The movie is the Melissa McCarthy comedy Spy. This is starring Melissa McCarthy. Also in the movie is action star Jason Statham, Rose Byrne, and Jude Law as well. A few other ones: Miranda Hart, Bobby Cannavale, Allison Janney, and there's a few others as well, but those are the main people. Excuse me. So, this movie is about Melissa McCarthy's character, and it's a CIA agent or a CIA analyst named Susan Cooper, who is leading a pretty boring type life behind the scenes. Well, it's not really boring, but she's behind the scenes at the CIA. She's not in the front lines. She's teammates with this guy who is in the front lines named Agent Bradley Fine, played by Jude Law. So, the CIA is looking into the possible sale of a nuclear bomb. A suitcase nuclear bomb. And unfortunately, the CIA agents have been exposed. Every field operative has been exposed by one of the main villains of this movie, the daughter of the guy that the CIA was looking into for the sale of the nuclear bomb. The daughter, Raina Boyanov, who's played by Rose Byrne. So basically, she makes it so that every field operative is exposed. So essentially what happens is that Susan Cooper volunteers to go into the field herself for the first time ever, becoming a field operative instead of just being behind the scenes. So her mission is that she has to go and stop that sale of the nuclear bomb and get it back to the right people, basically, the right people. So that basically is the plot of the movie. Pretty simple plot. This is a comedy, definitely. And before I tell you how I like the movie, I'm actually going to talk about some of the characters in the film. Melissa McCarthy has been a big star ever since 2011, probably. She definitely has been a big box office draw recently. Movies like Identity Thief, The Heat, and Tammy have all made her a big star. This movie's no different. This movie is a Melissa McCarthy vehicle, and it definitely the role definitely suits her. And I have to say that I really liked Melissa McCarthy in this movie. She was so funny. I mean, she was very, very funny. I think it's her signature role, honestly. I saw Identity Thief and I saw The Heat, and she was funny in those two movies. I didn't see Tammy. I haven't seen that yet. I heard it got bad reviews, though. But this one, I think, is her signature role. The one that people are going to look back on and say, that was her. That was it for her, basically. Agent Bradley Fine, played by Jude Law. Jude Law did a good job in this movie. He played a good supporting role. What impressed me more than anything about his role was that Jude Law mastered an American accent, and Jude Law is a Britishman. He's an Englishman. If you see him, you hear him in interviews, he's got a British accent. So what really impressed me absolutely was the American accent that he used in this movie. It was really good. Raina Boyanov, played by Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne was a highlight in this film for sure, playing one of the main villains, turned good guy, kind of. Anti-heroes, I guess. But I know I just spoiled it there, kind of, but yeah, Rose Byrne does a great job in this movie, playing the main villain, one of the main villains, and she delivered a great performance. The other performance was a CIA agent named Rick Ford, who tries to interfere with Susan Cooper and her mission a little bit, and Rick Ford is played by Jason Statham. Well, it's interesting because Jason Statham, who is known for action movies, I mean, just look at the Transporter movies, the Expendables movies, a movie called The Mechanic. I mean, there's so many, The Italian Job. There are so many iconic action roles that Jason Statham is known for. Saying that, this is Jason Statham's first attempt at comedy, really. It's his first big attempt at comedy, I should say. And it works. The guy's funny. He really steals. I think Melissa McCarthy steals the show in this one. But Jason Statham is really good in this movie. He really is. I mean, he plays a parody of himself, basically. A parody of himself and other action heroes. So, I mean, other spies, action heroes, guys like that. He plays a parody of all them and himself. And he's really good in this movie again. He does it for me, personally. Allison Janney plays the CIA director, the CIA boss. She does a pretty good job in a limited role. Sergio De Luca, one of the main villains of the film, played by Bobby Cannavale. Not really a main villain per se, one of the villains. Bobby Cannavale does a good job in this movie. And then she was pretty funny. Miranda Hart plays Susan Cooper's best friend at the CIA, Nancy. And she does a pretty good job in this film. But this movie right here is Melissa McCarthy, Rose Byrne, and Jason Statham are the three big characters that really make this movie special. This movie was really good. It was really funny. I was really impressed with this film. Now, I'll be honest. When I saw the trailers for this film, when I saw the trailers for this film, I wasn't very impressed. I didn't think the trailers were that funny to me. But when I saw Rotten Tomatoes and what they had for a review for this movie, they had a 90... Rotten Tomatoes lists this film as a 95% approval rating. For primarily a comedy, this is primarily a comedy film. That's really good. That's unbelievable for a comedy film. To have a 95% rating on this film, it's unbelievable. A lot of comedies get pretty low reviews or pretty middle of the pack reviews, things like that. There's a lot of comedies out there that get that, but not this one. This was a really, really well-reviewed movie, critically. And I can understand why. The action was good in this movie. The comedy was very good, especially from Melissa McCarthy and Jason Statham and Rose Byrne. They're the three big people in this film for sure. And this film is this film is so funny. It's directed by a guy named Paul Feige, who has directed Melissa McCarthy before, so they have chemistry together. They've been, I think, Bridesmaids, they both were in together, and there might have been another movie, but anyway, this movie was very funny, great action, great comedy. I have to give this a 4 out of 5 stars. The only complaint I have about this film is the plot. The plot, they have to prevent the sale of a nuclear bomb. The plot could have been a lot better. The plot was so simple. I mean, in some ways it's a good thing the plot was very simple, but from a action comedy film kind of spoofing action, kind of spoofing the action spy genre, they could have had a better plot for this film. They really could have, and that's my one bugaboo about this movie, is that, yeah, the plot should have been more intriguing. The plot should have been more intriguing for the characters to sink their teeth into. I mean, they sink their teeth into this plot, for sure. This simple plot, but the plot overall, again, should have been better, honestly. So I do take away from the movie for that a little bit, but this movie's hilarious. I mean, some of the action scenes are good in this film, but the comedy is really what stands out in this movie. It's just a great performance, a great comedy, a very funny comedy. And I really liked it a lot, and I would recommend it for sure to anybody. So that is it for my video on the movie Spy. D-Rock 1992 out.